Been a while since I've done that.
Well, and we're going to find out shortly. We are underway here.
Uncle apparently thinks there will be fly ladies in the tunnel, but I don't think he's going to find them.
Nope, not today, Uncle.
Only thing you're going to meet is the business end of a guard. And down we go. Let's see what weapon we have today. It is the fire rod.
Fire rod is a nice pickup. It is usually going to be a progression item, and even for this escape sequence here, it comes in handy. The runners will have enough magic to get through everything that they need to. Yeah, it's a good one.
So the fire rod, of course, not only does it one-shot everything in escape, but it also, gives you an indication as to some of those progression areas. You mentioned it was a progression item, but a lot of those places aren't going to be immediately available that the fire rod progresses you through.
That's true.
But you're still going to have those things in the back of your mind, like, okay, I got the fire rod in, like, one of the earliest locations. How does that affect the distribution of the other items?
Yeah, I would say that, if you get the fire rod early on, as we have today, when you get into the Dark World, Skull Woods is immediately full clearable. So if it's a crystal, you're probably going to go for that. Even if it's a pendant, you might think to dip that sooner rather than later.
Yeah, the only exception to what you just mentioned is if you get there and you don't have a sword.
Yeah. There's that one curtain that stands between you and Mothula.
Curtain's too strong. So there we go, 50 rupees in the boomerang chest. We still haven't found the key. I don't even remember what was in the first chest there.
I have to imagine that it was nothing of importance. But I don't think it was the map.
Alright, so prieR one-shots the ball and chain guard with a fire rod shot. And they both get the small key from Zelda's chest, so there could be something in that dark escape room coming up. Plus 5 arrows, right? So we have not seen the map. There is not a compass in escape. However, it is possible to create the compass of Hyrule Castle. That is an item that can be put in the game. It's in the code.
That was a interesting little tidbit that I only learned about recently myself.
They even have pedestal text for it. It says, this thing doesn't technically exist.
That's pretty cool.
Same with, like, the big key of Agate Tower.
Mm-hmm. So just doing a little bit of farming for bombs on Dude's side. Anytime you can try and quickly kill a guard, it's a good idea, just to see if they drop that bomb that we need for the back part of escape.
All right. So we are now getting our remodeling on. Or redecorating, I guess. It's like, I just want to change the accent on this wall.
It's really unfortunate for prieR. Fire rod shot went through all of the snakes there, missing every single one of them.
He did, however, get a full magic restore at one point, so he's gonna have a lot more shots to attempt to farm. Got a piece of heart and a uncomfortable beeping noise coming from Dudude. I hope that doesn't hurt him in the long run. Looks like the first drop in the rat's prize pack is a bomb, so if Dudude manages to farm some additional bombs or kill some additional rats, he's gonna be okay.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know if he has enough for one more shot. Oh, just one. Okay, let's see.
He's got the drop. There we go.
That's clutch.
I didn't see what was in the first chest, but we'll see it here in a second. The second contained a shield, and the last one was the burrito. It was the power glove. That's important.
Very important.
And that's also an awful, awful place for the power glove. Especially if you don't find bombs and escape.
Yeah. It should indicate to us that there's probably a fairly early lamp, but that's still not even a guarantee.
Well, the thing is, the dark escape section stays lit.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so the free light cone in escape lasts the whole game. So that is something that they keep in mind. So why it's bad is if that's your first glove, you have to go all the way back in from the front door.
Yes, which is a huge time sink for sure.
All right, so prieR heading to the poultry and the lumberjack ledge, while Dude is avoiding the lumberjack ledge. We will see if this turns out to be a big deal. It is not. It is it's big, but it's only a heart container.
So yeah, not likely to draw either our runners up to Aghanim.
So 50 rupees lying on the ground where a mushroom usually grows. Another 50 rupees in the thieves' hideout here.
So Dude gave us our first map check. It was lightning quick, but our tracker Deuce May managed to grab all three. Eastern Palace is the red pendant, Desert Palace is the green pendant, and Tower of Hera is a regular crystal.
All right. Ooh. Dude with the sick tech on that bomb pickup.
Yeah, that was very conveniently placed right there.
I did not know that was a 50-50 bomb shot.
Mm-hmm.
Who says Dude is rusty? Forget that mess.
Meanwhile, we find the boots in the back of the tavern there.
And that is a book. A book in Blind's Hut, which, might tempt one of our runners to head up to the pedestal.
Ooh, yeah.
Especially since prieR is starting from the bottom, he may just go ahead and do that.
Yeah, that's a good thought. Get that kind of knowledge early on.
Ether medallion in the chicken hut. Dude's gonna go purchase something from the bottle vendor and then go buy some bombs because he's a little short.
So this boots and book combo kind of is hinting towards maybe checking out Desert Palace, even though we know it's the green pendant.
Yeah, book does tend to lead to desert quite often. We can't actually complete... Yes, we can. We've got the fire rod. What am I smoking? I was like, we don't have the lamp. We can't clear... Get out. Get out of my brain. Looks like we got a bottle in Kakariko Well.
So we'll be able to get the sick kid check in while we're here in Kakariko, which is always nice to do on your first trip into the town.
Dude heading into the well now. But yes, the fire rod does an excellent job lighting torches, just like
Yes.
the lamp. So yeah, it's not a problem at all. Alright, so dude now gonna head into the sick kid check. Right behind prieR, we've got 5 whopping rupees.
So the sick kid gives up his allowance.
prieR gets that map check in as well. Took a look to confirm, and that is the hook shot on the library. What a convenient place to have it, considering that you got the boots already.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any way I'd be YOLOing the race game right now, because I've already gotten so much progression. The odds that something is there is virtually nothing at this point.
Yeah.
So now we can head to South Shore, or I guess in prieR's case, Eastern area, which is an interesting play. And Dude is making the play that I often like to do when I have the book, and that is do Mini Moldorm Cave first and then go west toward Desert.
Right, that's good. That's good thinking there. Just kind of working your way back towards the desert area.
Alright, so prieR took care of Sazrala's closet, but is not going into Eastern Palace just yet. That's a pretty quick check, just getting it out of the way, it looks like. And there's some blue mail in the Mini Moldorm Cave. That's basically the only majorly relevant thing that's there. Oh, looks like Dude is just going to head on over to Ice Rod Cave. So that completely contradicts what I was thinking, but that's okay. Maybe he'll go to Dam and Desert right after this.
More knowledge of some of these locations where bombs are hiding from Dude.
Yeah, that one I was aware of. Just a +5 bomb upgrade, and Dude is actually leaving, so looks like he may intend to do the Boots Waterwall trick.
Very nicely done.
Yeah, I feel like if I were Dude in this case, I probably would have gone for the fake flipper to Hobo and then initiate the dash from there.
Mm,
That at least gets the Hobo check in.
yeah.
We've got a piece of heart on the ledge, and of course, another major reason that you want to come over here is Zora is actually in Logic.
Mm-hmm.
Big heart. Alright, so Dude now heading to South Hyrule again. We're going to do the dam as well. We will do our best to keep you apprised of the prieR situation.
So we know this first chest was a piece of heart, but we don't know what was actually in the other part of the drained swamp. So we'll find out that shortly.
a blue boomerang. And the logic does not care how many rupees you have, because it assumes that in the worst case you can literally farm enemies until you get them.
All right, dude, checking out Agina's cave here.
Personally, if I have the book, I like to go into desert first and then finish up with Agina's cave, because I like to save and quit from here. But hey, if you're going to get the red mail out of there, then why not?
Yeah. Ooh, the flute hanging out on the desert ledge there.
All right, so definitely a good idea to come over to desert. Now the flute, of course, gives you access to Death Mountain, which the hookshot makes much, much more appealing.
Yeah, most definitely.
Though I would probably go ahead and clear out a good portion of desert here as well. So another reason that I found the play to go over to Sahasrah's closet a little strange is if you were going to come over to desert anyway and potentially finish off the dungeon, you would get the green pendant, and that would save a trip.
Mm-hmm. Right, big key on the torch here. So the small key is going to be in the big chest here.
Yep, that is guaranteed. Now there are still 2 possible items here in desert, and Dude can access all of them. He's going to go ahead, it looks like, and grab the flute and potentially... Now it does in fact look like prieR's stream may have officially bit the dust today, so we will see what happens.
Yeah, kind of unfortunate, but these things do happen. Hopefully, it'll pop up back online soon enough, and we'll get prieR up and running again.
And that's also why we do a sort of a local recording of whatever you're doing, just in case the stream goes down. Ten arrows.
Not too exciting.
And the compass. So Lanmo has the last item and the green pendant, and Dude is interested in neither of those things. Now that does make sense because you just picked up the flute and now you have Death Mountain access.
Yeah, that's definitely a reasonable play to make, you know. I'm surprised a little bit that you're already in the dungeon. That's pretty quick to full clear it. 2 items you're kind of leaving behind for now, but with so many things up on Death Mountain and places like Bonk Rocks here, makes sense.
Yeah, the magic situation would have made Lanmo a little difficult because no sword. So you'd have to do fire rod shots or bombs. And there we go. prieR has returned, it looks like, and he's in Tower of Hera.
So, how did he get up there?
flute.
No, it
he
looks like a
didn't.
sequence
He
break,
just sequence
perhaps.
broke Death Mountain, and that does make sense. You've got the hook shot. It's a entirely reasonable proposition, but he did need to get either the mirror or the hammer to get up to Tower of Hera. So we will see.
And also, he's got the Master Sword, which out of nowhere here, so that's pretty cool. Probably went over to East Death Mountain first before heading into Tower of Hera and picked up a couple of good things over there.
Looks like hammer was in fact the item they used, and apparently the silver arrows were over there as well. So, good to know. And there's a sword from the old man. And apparently Brian is a thing too. All right, so Lanmo goes down, gonna get prieR his first crystal of this match. And the second item from Hera, that is bombs. It's gonna do that. All right, so let's see what this clearly loaded Paradox Cave has. We've got bombs and quack.
prieR likely heading back for Spiral Cave, yep.
There's the Master Sword, the hammer, the Cane of Burna, the warrant, and the the shield.
Wow. Oh, and at the bottom of Spiral Cave was the Moon Pearl.
Well, that is certainly a thing.
So that one, that Eastern...
Oh!
Wow, what was that?
That was the Ice Rod.
Ah.
And unless Turtle Rock is our last pendant, you're going to require that thing. And it's very nice to know where it is.
And that's where the silver arrows were, on the Ether Tablet.
Ah. So prieR is heading into the Dark World without the flute, but for all we know, it may not be required, because prieR, we do see that Misery Mire is our remaining pendant. It looks like the 5-6 crystals are Swamp and Ice.
So with that thoroughly loaded East Death Mountain, that's given us kind of almost full access to everything in the world at this point. So there's quite a few options for runners. Oh, and Cane of Samaria hanging out in Skull Woods. There's a number of different directions that our runners could go at this point.
I imagine prieR has seen the Ice Rod as well.
Yeah,
Based
I would have
on
to
his
assume
routing.
so. You know, that's a pretty nice place for it to be hanging out. The Ice Rod is always one of those items that seems to elude runners for the longest time. So to know that it's right there near the dungeon that you're going to need to use it in is a big plus.
You said for the longest time, and now my head is thinking of a song.
So just a big 20 as the second item in Skull Woods. So looks like prieR is going to take on Mothula. Blue male, 6 hearts. It's going to be a tricky fight, but I think that he can pull it off.
This is not the world's easiest moth fight, for sure. Is now facing off against Trolldorm. There we go. One land mode down. I mean, Moldorm down. And they're about the same. They're both worms. The bottle that we found was a fairy bottle from Kakariko Well. Yes. So now Dude is going to head and get this Moon Pearl. So one thing I might be tempted to do is, so the Moon Pearl, the nearest location that the Moon Pearl gives you the access to in this case is actually Spike Cave.
Phew, and with 1 heart remaining there, prieR takes down Mothula.
Oh yeah, that is true. prieR did Death Warp. So that fairy was no longer there.
So here's where we're seeing that flute pickup from Dude is really starting to pay off here. I was able to flute directly to 3 here and get into the Dark World pretty quickly, whereas prieR had to save and quit.
What do you think the odds are we see a pet check? No? Okay.
Oh.
I mean, the vast array of items that are required to get those pendant dungeons done, it's not a small amount.
Yeah.
I didn't see what was on the bumper cave there.
Oh, no, me either.
I think the window might be a little cropped on the stream, so we weren't able to see it. I imagine prieR did see it, though. There's another bottle with bees! And the cane of Samaria, which I'm sure you talked about.
I did mention it, yes. So prieR is heading into Thieves Town here. This makes sense. Another crystal dungeon. Should be a few items in here.
Ever so hype 10 bombs.
Definitely mad hype for that.
And the big key, as you also expect, in the front of Thieves Town.
Ooh, and the Titan's Mitt.
There we go.
So let's see. That opens up Dark Death Mountain at this point. We have, depending on the medallion, we got 2 out of 3 medallions, so odds are pretty decent. We almost have everything that we need to get into Turtle Rock. We just got to pick up that ice rod over on the floating island.
And of course, to do that, you will need the mirror.
Oh yeah, right. That's an important piece to note there.
Which is one more thing you gotta find. But of course, for all we know, the mirror can be in Turtle Rock, which, you know, I wouldn't put it past them. If the mirror's over in the mire area, then somebody's gonna need to get a flute.
Mm-hmm.
And Dude has become a Moogle. Mirror on Trinex is impossible. Because you need the mirror for the ice rod. So Dude is in this fight with red mail. So that's actually a fairly significant difference. Because when you've got the red mail, you kind of just want to get up in Moth's face.
Yeah, you can definitely just kind of like tank a couple of his hits a little easier.
Alright, the big chest of Thieves Town having just 10 arrows, and I think that might be all 4 items in Thieves Town, but I could be making that up, so...
Yeah, I wasn't keeping count either, but we'll soon find out what is hanging out on blind, if it's just a compass or if it's actually one more item. We'll find out.
Alright, so, blind versus prieR. Nice opening fight here. And there we go.
Yeah,
Quick fight.
Making it look easy.
And a green rupee. So we're done. And once again, Thieves Town. It had the Titan's Mitts in it, and that is basically all the value.
Yes. Just 50 rupees hanging out in the brewery there. prieR going to take care of hammer pegs here.
There's actually a lot of discussion in the chat right now about glitches that are exclusive to the Japanese 1.0 version, which is what the randomizer is based on, and this is one of them. This particular hammer dash trick that you can use to knock these pegs down in one fell swoop.
Oh, wow. Bold from prieR there. Even with only 6 hearts, turns down the full heart container.
So one thing you could do if you're just wanting to learn the game is you can actually get on the randomizer website and generate a vanilla ROM, which is a thing. You just put vanilla in the seed field, and it will... And so you could practice what the game normally has without all those, annoying text boxes.
Ah, I didn't know you could do that. Ooh, dude with a really nice dash through the hellway there. Managed to avoid everything. It looks like prieR is going to be taking Jeremiah the Bullfrog on a world tour here.
Yeah, looks like it. So we're going to head over to J.R. Stumpsman Esquire, who just has a piece of heart today. And now we can head over to a much more anticipated location, the Height Cave. 5 items in here, and could be garbage, but usually isn't. Starting out with a full heart container, I mean, that's not something I'm going to turn down. Alright, so I stand corrected.
It was a love cave today. So now with the blacksmith in tow, heading over to Bonk, sorry, not Bonk Rocks, the King's Tomb here. Oh,
Ooh, magic powder. And if there is ever a time to get the magic powder, it's when you're about to turn in the blacksmith.
yeah, that's perfect timing. Dude's blind fight going very well so far.
Ooh, the Bombos medallion from the Smiths. That means we've got all the medallions we could possibly need.
It's always nice to have all 3 in your bag there. No need to play a guessing game as to whether or not you've got the right one for Turtle Rock or Misery Mire.
All right, so red rupee from the magic bat. And so prieR is now going to head up to the mountain cave. This looks like a dip toward the dark side of Death Mountain. The ice rod is up on the floating island.
I wonder if
The mirror.
prieR is thinking that the I guess that looking for the mirror here, because we're going to need to get that for the ice rod, as you pointed out earlier. Are we going to see a Turtle Rock dip at this point?
Well, I think he's going to open it for sure.
Yes.
But I think he'll probably go check Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny first, just to see what happens.
Yes.
And then we'll see if he goes to Spike Cave or if he just goes right into Turtle Rock. I believe Mirror Ped says, "Isn't your reflection pretty?"
Yeah, I think that sounds right. Yeah, based on like what's open to prieR, this makes sense. Oh,
Oh! That is definitely one of the more interesting places to find that particular item.
Man,
And I mean, at this point, you just go into Turtle Rock.
you
just
absolutely
clear it. You
Yes.
just do it.
I wonder how long it's going to take Dude to make the same play. He's got that flute, so he's going to check out Meyer. Oh,
Ooh,
there's
our
the lamp. Dude's got flute, so he can check out the Meyer area, but he might get, I guess, locked out of locations soon enough as well. He's going to give us a pyramid and catfish at this time.
Ah, that's definitely a place that prieR, well, I wouldn't say neglected, but elected not to check. Piece of heart on the pyramid. All right, Turtle Rock time. We've got 5 total items in Turtle Rock, plus Mimic Cave, thanks to having that mirror.
Yeah, what a find. I guess, it's randomized. You shouldn't be surprised that the mirror would turn up right where you're going to need it. Oh, and the flippers as well.
Oh, flippers in their vanilla location. It's not actually a vanilla location, but people like to think Turtle Rock is the vanilla location for the flippers after playing so much rando.
I tend to agree.
And so that gives us everything we need minus the bow.
Yeah.
All right, small key, big key on the right-hand side of Turtle Rock. So we will now be expecting a small key in the Chain Chomp chest, and then I would imagine prieR will go ahead and check the vanilla big key chest.
Yeah, I don't think you'd leave that behind when you're still looking for an item for go mode.
Bow could absolutely be in Swamp Palace, and with the way the items are, landing, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a pretty decent location for it to be hanging out today.
Of course, it could also just be in Pod, which would be pretty awful.
Mm-hmm.
Or in Eastern. Nobody's been to Eastern yet.
I guess the one place you're hoping that it isn't is your pendant misery mire. That would be pretty brutal.
Yeah, though if you're Dude, I think Dude would benefit from that situation quite a bit.
Yeah.
Speaking of misery mire, that is Dude's destination. So we go to the mire shed. And just explosive related items in the mire shed.
Ooh, is he just gonna open this? I hope he's not thinking to dive in here. This would be a pretty interesting gamble if he decides to go looking for items in here.
I mean, to me, this feels like a dip. he may not go all the way through.
Right. I mean, dude knows who he's up against. You know, prieR, he is a great runner, so he's thinking that he's got to make a couple of gambles here to maybe get the victory. So, you know, you can't fault him for a play like this. And for all we know, the bow could be hanging out in here. And if it is, that's a big plus for dude.
Oh, and it looks like we're having issues with prieR's stream again.
Might be a few mystery locations in Turtle Rock that we'll have to piece together at some point. Oh, looks like we're getting it back, maybe.
So dude just hasn't been up to dark Death Mountain. And so dude checks the left-hand side and notices that there is not a key in that chest, so it's a little less likely that the big key is in its vanilla location. That's a piece of heart.
So that's the first of 2 items here.
Alright, so we just missed Laser Bridge. But the bow was not there.
Hammer strats on Trinex here. Looking pretty good so far.
Alright, so it's looking like in Meyer, the item is either in the vanilla big key spot or on Vitreous. He did Mimic Cave.
So after this, what feels like the longest cutscene in the entire game, as that wall moves in the room over here, we'll soon find out what the, hopefully what the second item is. Ooh.
Oh, we're gonna have to go to Vidi to find out.
And I guess because you're this far in, dude's going full clear on this one.
Unfortunately, you know what else was up on Death Mountain? The lamp.
Oh, yeah, right.
So this is going to be a, fairly obscure trip here. I mean obscure in the literal sense of the word. prieR going to Swamp, did not find the bow on Trinex.
Meanwhile, dude is making his way through these dark rooms pretty nicely so far.
go. Switch flipped, and we're into the next room. Well, I don't know if we know exactly what prieR found, but we know he didn't find the bow.
Yeah, which is pretty much the only thing that really matters. You know, it was probably some rupees and you know, arrow capacity upgrade, things like that. So we'll find out, I guess, when Dude heads up to Turtle Rock eventually. But nothing of importance for the sake of completing the run.
So the difference here between what Dude is doing and what Dude did a while ago on Landmo is right now Dude does not have, you know, 10 plus items up on Death Mountain waiting for him. He's got a few items up on Death Mountain, but not a million.
Mm-hmm. So this is the moment of truth here. What does Vitreous have? Just a big 20.
20. And so, Dude's trek through Misery Mire not paying off today. Although it was a very nice Vidi fight.
Mm-hmm.
I thought for sure he was going to die, but that did not happen. There's the big key of Swamp. Looks like prieR is going to go back to Argus before coming back in.
So we're just seeing Dude doing some fake flipper action here. Gonna check out Hobo. I wonder if he is gonna dip into Ice Palace after this, or is he just gonna be doing the one check for Hobo?
That would be interesting. Just +5 arrow upgrade from the Hobo. Looks like he might be going for ice. This is an interesting call.
So prieR takes Argus down, just a big 20. We'll likely head back into the dungeon to clear out left side and pick up the item in the big chest. So Dude fake flippering into Ice Palace here. You know, I get that he's thinking that the flippers might be in some kind of out-of-the-way location or in a dungeon that he'd have to double dip otherwise. You know, we know that they're in Turtle Rock, so he's saving himself that step. If he finds the bow here, then he'll be able to kind of eliminate the need to go up to Turtle Rock to pick up the flippers.
Except for the fact that he's going to need to do it to get into Swamp anyway, right?
That is true.
So, I mean, now he doesn't know that the flippers are up there, of course.
Right. It may give him some kind of an idea as to where they might be, though, so... Plus, you just spent a couple of minutes clearing out Misery Mire there. You might as well keep on gambling.
Oh, dude. 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 Nicely done.
Ice Palace bomb jump not working out for you? Just hover.
No problem here.
Alrighty, last chest on the left side here. Just some bombs. So Swamp Palace, nothing.
I was gonna say, now we're doing the bomb jump here, even though we have the hook shot. But no, this is fine. I believe I can float.
So as the search for the bow continues, prieR is going to be joining Dude in Ice Palace here. We find the Tempered Sword.
Well, that is certainly not the worst thing you'd ever find. We'll make some of those fights that prieR's already done a little easier.
I like how chat finished off your little song there.
Oh yeah, I expect nothing less from chat. And it looks like, by the way Dude is routing things here, well, maybe not. I was gonna say, oh, okay, he's getting a fairy. I was gonna say, it looked like we may have found all 3 items. So we found that sword, we found a bomb upgrade, and I don't know what else.
I don't think I saw the 3rd item either.
A very solid cold stare fight here.
Yeah, only one puff for trying to escape there, but all in all, very nice.
Alright, Dude is saving and quitting, of course, because you don't have a mirror. And are we going to the mountain? No. Well, we might be fluting there for all I know. Going back to Meyer area. There is nothing else you can do here, Dude.
And I think he finally realized it. Yes.
Now, if you don't pick up the thing, you could go back into desert and finish that off.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, that looks like what he's doing here.
There we go. So if the bow is hanging out on either Landmolus or is the green pendant and Sahasrara has it, this is like one of the last locations where it might give a dude a little bit more of the time back that he has sunk into the Misery Mire play.
Yeah, I think basically the only other spot that could really give dude some time back is like if it's a checkerboard cave.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, he'd need to go get the mirror first.
Yeah.
What if it's in Spike Cave?
Oh.
Just throwing that one out there.
Yeah, really. So when Dude makes his play up to Dark Death Mountain, he could kind of route that in there.
Yeah,
It's
I
something
don't
that
know
prieR
if
missed out
prieR
on.
checked it.
I don't
thing
think
is-
so.
The thing is, we saw him beat Trinex. The next thing we saw is him in Swamp. So,
And I think the only thing about finding Bow for Dude at this point is it's going to lead him to Pod and possibly Eastern when it'll put prieR into Go mode, and so that he'll be able to just kind of blitz through Pod.
yeah, that is pretty unfortunate. There is 300 rupees on the Landmolas there. Now, of course, Dude does not know that the pedestal is dead.
Right, that's true.
So he could, after turning in the green pendant, make a beeline for Eastern, hoping to find the bow in there, but we'll see.
I guess in his mind, it could be the mirror or flippers on pedestal.
Right. Bug net. So once again, no bow. And Dude is flying away. Where are we going? 1. Alright, this is going to put Dude on the right track.
Oh, he's going to Spike Cave first, it looks like.
Oh. Interesting play. Oh, he hadn't checked Spectacle Rock Cave either. Oh, it's Spike Cave. I'm not entirely certain anyone's set foot in Pod yet.
No, neither runner has been over that way. Pod
All
or
right.
Eastern, yeah.
So the flute was on the desert ledge.
Interesting. It looks like prieR is doing a purple chest, perhaps.
And I think oh, he's gonna do Graveyard Ledge, maybe?
Ooh, yeah, that's it, maybe.
I think And he may go over to do like pyramid and catfish from here, because he never
Yeah.
did that. I think prieR should actually be able to deduce the location of the flute,
Mm-hmm.
because he knows that the lamp was up here on Death Mountain. So that means that in order to get to Death Mountain in the first place, which had like the hammer and Dark World access, you had to be able to have the flute.
Yeah, right.
There's basically only one place that was accessible before Death Mountain that he hasn't been.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so Dude is going to get that ice rod. I'm going to open Turtle Rock and finish it off. But yeah, I guess you're right. Flute could have been in Eastern Palace. But nobody's been in there.
Oh! There
Alright,
it
ladies and
is.
gentlemen. We have found the bow on the Haunted Grove ledge. prieR's going to leave the purple chest just lying there because that is official go mode for prieR57.
That is an interesting spot for that item to be, given that the mirror was kind of in an awkward spot there up on Dark Death Mountain. We'd already seen Jeremiah done, so Cave 45 is not a location that you would think to go to right away, as we saw prieR check a lot of other locations before getting there. So, interesting.
Alright, so Dude is now heading through the right-hand side. We're going to check. We're going to get his keys there as prieR enters Pod, doing his go mode. Now, Pod has a very high variance on its go mode time.
Yeah, if the keys work out in your favor, it can be lightning quick, but oftentimes it's the big key finds itself way in the back there.
Yeah. Best case scenario is you find big key like right here. But we didn't.
Next best spot would be on the right side here, where prieR is heading next, the Bowlock side of the dungeon.
Yeah, and the other upside there is if you find the big key over here, the other chest is going to be a small key.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. The one thing we know for sure is that prieR will not have to check the big chest.
Yes.
The big key cannot be there. There's a small key and the compass. So, now we can say with relative certainty that with actual certainty, that every remaining chest up here in the front is a small key.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as I expected, prieR's going to go ahead and grab the one out of the basement. Because you're going to need one more before you head downstairs.
How far in is prieR going to have to go here? Let's see.
All right, so there's another small key. There could be up to one small key in this room. If there isn't, we know that there's one in the room below. Okay. So there's half magic. It's nice to find.
Yeah, definitely.
But we now know that the big key could be in the Harmless Hellway down here.
And it is.
So prieR is now leaving the back section. We'll be heading to Helmasaur to finish that off. And Pod will, in fact, be his 7th crystal. So, Cave 45 is also called the Haunted Grove Cave or the Grove Ledge Cave. It is south of the Haunted Grove in the Light World. You have to mirror to it. And it's called Cave 45 in the spoiler log. And it's also numbered 45 on several maps. That's where it got the number.
So one thing we will get a peek at here is what's on Laser Bridge. Unfortunately, prieR's stream cut out a little bit while he was checking it out.
Bees!
Nice.
This is the Nicolas Cage Memorial Bridge. Never mind the fact that Nicolas Cage is still alive.
Alrighty, so prieR into the Helmasaur King fight.
That is not what 45 looks like in Japanese.
And with a single silver arrow to the face there, Helmasaur King goes down. Well, at least dude's got Tempered Sword for this Trinex fight.
Yep, it's going to be a little bit easier to deal with. So Dude got far behind because instead of heading up to Dark Death Mountain when he got the Titan's Mitts, he instead opted for the thing. So let's do the game.
Oh yeah, the game. Alrighty, so prieR's making his way up to Ganon's tower here. In there are 22 chests in the basement where the big key might be. So put your guesses in the chat, 1 through 22. Where do you think the big key is going to be today? And if you are subscribed to any of the Speed Gaming channels, or if you donated 250 bits across the channels, you'll be entered in for a chance to get onto our leaderboard if your guess is in fact the closest.
Does look like Dude is going to go ahead and check Spike Cave while he's up here.
Yeah.
So we are going to cut this off as soon as prieR enters Ganon's tower. So be ready for that.
Where do you think we're going to find the big key today, Bob?
Well, you know, Bob's chest is always near and dear to my heart.
True.
But every time I commentate, someone beats me to it. So I picked 20 this time.
20, nice. I'm a fan of any of the chests in the rando room. So if we follow the usual runner's logic, it usually puts it around chest, I want to say chest 12 today. Alrighty, prieR enters Ganon's Tower, 116, pretty much on the dot.
All right, so there is a compass and a small key. prieR is one of those guys who goes right.
That throws my guess off a little bit, but I'll stand by chest 12, whichever one that might be this time.
And Dude is unfortunately going to be clearing out swamp before he finds the bow.
Yeah, that is too bad. A quick little check over at Cave 45 there would have been really, really nice about now.
There's the red boomerang. And there's the big key. That's chest number 4 for prieR. If you're wondering why he was checking the rest of those chests, it's because there was a decent chance there was a small key in one of them.
Alrighty, and right on the money there, number 4, Mike Kal-El. Congratulations.
We're now heading through the gauntlet. Take care of the mimics. The flute was in fact completely unnecessary.
And you know, surprisingly, it seems to have been the item that kind of sunk Dude's race. Despite, you know, finding it fairly early and thinking this could really come in handy for him, it gave him access to Meyer, which was kind of like the first misstep, I guess, of his run.
It was, as we say in the Twitch verse lingo thing, jebaited.
Yeah, that was maximum jebaited for sure. prieR making the gauntlet look easy there. Gonna be powdering the bunny beam here. Puts off the timing of the lamb mollusk there, but it was worth it for the health pickup.
And prieR finishing off Landmo 2. Now it's time to go to basically my favorite rooms in the game.
Oh yes.
Get wrecked. His robes. There we go, prieR. Getting through the torch room. This will be a quick move up to the next floor. No chance of despawning there. That was way too clean. Remembering to make the kill here so we don't have to go back for the key.
Yep.
Oh, single arrow. Yeah, checking that chest is actually not a bad idea in this current situation. He's only got the blue mail. and he could get a butter sword or something. And it's time to head on to Geometry Wizard, aka Aghanim 2.
Nice double to start there. Ooh, probably a triple there. Yep. Just like that, Aga 2 is down, so prieR is heading into the Ganon fight. All going well. This could come in under 125.
Very nice Aga 2 as prieR begins the Ganon fight.
Tempered sword and silver arrows should be no problem.
Set up the double spin in the first part of the fight, but didn't quite get the one cycle. But I imagine the one cycle phase 2 will be much easier to pull off. Oh, not quite. But that's okay. prieR has plenty of time. Now, I think Dude knows exactly why his opponent finished so early.
Mm-hmm.
The route that prieR took is a very, very reasonable route.
Alrighty, phase 4 here.
Is going to do it. prieR57 takes down Ganon. Doesn't look like he's standing any chance of falling off. And the official time coming up for prieR is 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 2 seconds.
Yeah, put your GGs in the chat.
Alright, let's see if we can bring in prieR to talk about this. While Dude continues to search for that bow, he's gonna do the whole bomb, or big bomb situation here. Just a pair of heart pieces there for Dude. Those hearts are basically as broken as mine is for Dude right now.
Yeah. Well, at least this dip into pod is going to end right at that first chest there, as that had the map in it. So it's not going to lead him further into the dungeon looking for the bow.
All right. All right. So prieR will likely be joining us soon. I'm gonna need to see if we can get him an invite to the server. I don't know if that's something that the tracker has to do, or if the restream operator has to do that, or if it should have just done it automatically at the end.
One way or another, we'll get him in here.
Dude is now clearing out Eastern Palace in hopes of finding the bow, and this is going to be awful. Looks like the idea is that apparently the invite goes out when the winner is clicked on in the tracking device. That's an interesting thing. Okay.
Alrighty, looks like prieR's found their way here. prieR, GG's, congratulations.
Thanks. Hi.
Well, tell us about that one. It went pretty well for you, I think.
Yeah, it was fairly decent. I think the seed wasn't that bad. Just that bow bow Gomod item in cave 45.
So one of the interesting things that happened this seed, you got the book very early, right? And Dude decided to go into desert area, and you did not. Now, over there on the desert ledge was the flute.
Oh.
And so Dude, when he got the Titan's mitts, he cleared out Misery Mire instead of going to Death Mountain. And that's basically made up the difference between you and Dude here.
Ouch. Yes, because there were hammer, sword upgrade, mirror behind mitts in Dark World Death Mountain.
Yeah, he'd already been up to Light Death Mountain at that point. But when he had the mitts, he didn't go to Dark Death Mountain, he went to Mire instead. Which was the real nail in the coffin here.
Oh, that's really unfortunate. Must have been very costly to him.
Yeah, it was
I
not.
guess it kind of was, but I guess how did you? You didn't have to dip into any of the pendant dungeons at all, so I don't know. What was your? It was pretty. I guess it was pretty straightforward for you then. So like what was your thought process as you went through a couple of the dungeons? I guess anything that stood out to you on the run.
Only thing I did outside the logic was the Death Mountain without the lamp, which gave me a hammer and I could and Moon Pearl and the Moon Pearl in the Spiral Cave. So I had Dark World access.
Yep. So based on that, so the fact that you found the lamp later up on Death Mountain, I imagine it told you that the flute was available, but you didn't necessarily need it, was the thing.
Yes, you're right, because Meyer was a pendant dungeon. You had access to desert, which was a green pendant, but you didn't have to dip in anyway. So I just followed the seed, did as much crystals as I could, and
So let me ask you something. How happy were you to see the mirror up in Super Bunny Cave?
I was kind of expecting that because I saw Ice Rod in the little island behind Hookshot Cave.
It was
I
a
thought
pretty.
Myro were something there. I thought either Super Bunny Cave or Hookshot Cave to have the mirror, and it gave me access to Turtle Rock, which had flippers in it. So things came one after another, and see I think there were not so much traps, except as you said that book you had early in the game, which had flute, so you could have done things that were unnecessary.
Yeah, the flute was in fact the real trap here, and we see Dude finally finding that bow, and is quite unhappy, expressing his disapproval with the Quake medallion. And it does look like Dude has gone ahead and forfeited here.
Definitely understandable at this point. You know, you know how the end of the game is going to work out at this point, so might as well just kind of call it a day. So prieR, you're moving on to the next round. How do you feel about that?
I'm super happy. I must give shoutouts to Dudude, because he was a great opponent. He took me the first match, and he's surely a very good player, and it was an honor to play with him.
That's great. Yeah. So we'll try and pull him in as well, so we can have a chat. Yeah, competition is so strong this tournament. So making it through any of the rounds of the brackets is a great accomplishment. So good work there, and yeah, I guess good luck going forward as well into the next round.
Yes, look, I will need it, because I think my next opponent is a winner of ACMLM and DT.
Oh wow!
So it will be very hard to compete with these strong players, but I'll do my best like always, and we will see.
Nice.
Well, there's Dude in our setup room, so we'll go ahead and bring him on in. Dude.
Yo.
Hi, welcome to the booth, and congratulations on finally finding that bow.
Yeah, I definitely see that as the victory in this particular scenario because, yeah. Like, I could have finished out the seed at that point, but I figured I wouldn't want to waste anybody's time at that point because I know how awkward it is to have to commentate somebody who's finishing like 20 minutes behind the winner.
Yeah.
We would have stuck it out for you, dude. But yeah,
I know,
makes,
but I
it
didn't want
makes
to
sense.
bother you. I just wanted to find a fair one stream before I quit with the indication that, you know, I could have finished this, but eh.
So, you know, as I like to say, the whole randomizer, the way to succeed in randomizer is, you know, making the wrong move at the right time. And your opponent never went to desert.
Yeah, I saw.
And therefore never got the bow. Or never got the flute, and then never...
I was actually listening in on the interview already. I just wasn't publicly visible.
Right, of course. But at least you had that sick tech in Ice Palace.
I mean, you can call it sick tech. I call it messing up a bomb jump and getting impatient and doing the other sillier way of doing it instead.
Yeah, it's like who needs to do bomb jumps when you can just, you know, do several frame perfect inflits in a row.
It's really interesting that when you picked up that flute early on, we thought that was going to give you a big advantage, and it turned out to be the your undoing there. Yeah, I guess it really must have changed how you thought to approach the seed, because with prieR not finding it at all, you know, it was pretty straightforward how he was going to route the seed. But then with the flute, it opened up Mire to you, and so it made perfect sense that you would dive in.
Yeah, I actually specifically went for the Mire play because I figured there was a good chance prieR had just gone up that mountain through a sequence break as opposed to with the flute. So I figured if there's something really important in Mire, this is going to give me a really big advantage. But alas, all that was in there was a big waste of time.
Yeah, it was kind of the make or break move for this run. So if there wasn't in there, it definitely would have paid off for you. But as is the case with Randomizer, sometimes you win and sometimes you don't. But it was a good effort nonetheless.
All right, so once again, congratulations to prieR for moving on. And,
yeah, congratulations.
And Dude, of course, we will see you next time around, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll be around, I think.
And is there anything else you guys would like to say about this particular seed before we wrap things up here today?
Yeah, like I said before, thank you, Dudude. You were a great opponent. You took me the first race. You surely are a great player, and it was an honor to play with you. And I wish you the best for tournaments coming up.
All I can personally say is that I'm happy that in the 3 total games I got to play in this tournament, I at least won one of them. Especially against such great opponents.
All right.
This could have easily gone very differently.
All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This race has come to an end, but there are plenty more races going on throughout the next few days, and I'm sure if you want to, you know, stay apprised of those, we've got the Speed Gaming channels and the A Link to the Past Randomizer channels, all of them hosting some excellent matches throughout the week. I want to once again thank our 2 runners, Dudude and prieR. I want to thank our tracker, Deucemay, for keeping track of every wonderful item here on the screen, and of course, my co-commentator, Sabatender. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bob. It's always a pleasure to be in the booth here with you. So I had a great time, and it was a great race. So I guess from me, yeah, thanks to the runners again. It was a great show, and I don't know. I'll I'll catch everybody next time, and I'll leave it the final word with you, Bob.
Once again, I'd like to remind everybody, if you enjoyed what you saw here, the best way to support those people involved is to give them a follow here on Twitch, and everybody will appreciate that. So with that, I will just say that I have been Dr. Bobtastic,
And I've been Sabotender.
and we'll see you later.